Mayor, I'd like to call to order the work session meeting of the Mayor and Council for the Borough of Elmwood Park on January 14th, 2021 to order at 7:06 p.m. On roll call, Council members Fasolo.
Here.
Golobeck, absent. Ingwe.
Here.
Pellegrin.
Here.
Council President Wetchler.
Here.
And Councilwoman Balistreri.
Here.
Mayor Coletti.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, Erin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And let me say, it's real good to see real life people. This is probably the most in about 6 months that we had in the audience. Naturally all socially distanced, but it's good to see you all. So let's get started. We've got a full packed evening besides the audience in terms of our work meeting. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey require at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now, therefore, be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing an annual notice in the Record and Herald News of Woodland Park, and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk, as well as in a public place within a municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Notice was posted on January 8th, 2021, and published on January 13th, 2021. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Anyone from the public care to speak at this junction? If not, I'll close the public portion. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special moment. We are going to celebrate some good people that have done Elmwood Park a great justice, and I will turn it over to you, Mike Foligno.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to welcome the representatives of PB Roofing here, Anthony and the team. Anthony and I became acquainted a few years back through martial arts training, and Anthony's company is housed here in Elmwood Park, and he expressed to me that they want to do some community outreach and give back to the community where their company is. So what came to my mind, being that they're a roofing outfit, is our pistol range is antiquated and the roof leaks. So I said, hey, Ant, what do you think? And he ran with it. He brought his awesome team in. And let me tell you, these people didn't do this just to check a box. This was not, okay, we have to give back and let's just do this and get it done with so we could say we did it. They embraced it. They treated it as if it was their home. And they came up with idea after idea, and the project multiplied, and they did a fantastic job. And we got friends for life in PB Roofing, and David and his wife and the rest of the team. Awesome people, great community sense, and we appreciate all that they've done. Mayor?
I would just like to add that we're pretty fortunate here in Elmwood Park to have a good relationship with our businesses over the years. They've been very generous, and the difference between what has been done here with this company in the past is that they went far above what was required. And I'm just going to read some of the things that they did. I'll piggyback off of what Michael was saying. PB Roofing Project managed the facility and created a list of items to improve the facility beyond the roofing system. They came in to fix the roof, and this is what transpired. But not limited to landscaping, electrical, painting, and the replacement of targets, parapets, and an overall cleaning of debris within the range. Now that is special. They could have just came in, appeased us, fixed the roof. We would have been grateful for that alone, but they went beyond that. And I want to say that I could tell, I'm a former contractor, and I always try to run my business by my next job is going to be my best job. And I could tell you're running your company like that, and you have a lot of satisfied people out there. So, Michael, can we present these people and show our gratitude?
Yes, Mayor, if you'd join me down here. So we'll pull you guys up individually, and then if anyone has anything they'd like to say, we'll take care of that secondary. So first and foremost, the leader of the pack, Anthony, please come up on behalf of the Borough of Elmwood Park. Yep.
Hey, they get to see you without the mask on. Well, take a good look.
Next, we have David Nick. Dave, come on up. Dave and I became good friends throughout this process, and he lives a couple blocks over from me. So, Dave, another Elmwood Park resident, appreciate you both.
Thank you, David.
Next, we'll have Maggie, David's wife, come on up. And next is Brady, who runs the operation. So, Anthony, this is for the company itself. So
Awesome, thank you so much.
I have Eileen. The other part of the brain.
So Chief, this side is brains and the other is what?
Brawn? I don't know.
Okay.
And John, something about me.
And John Summerton. You want to say?
I will.
So, that's for John? Yep.
Thank you so much.
And Anthony, you have the floor.
All right, thank you so much.
So,
Anthony?
Yes,
Testing?
thank you very much. Thank you for your time, everyone, this evening. You know, in 1719, the novel Robinson Crusoe, after decades of being stranded on an island, Crusoe saves and befriends a man that he discovers. Crusoe and the man did not speak the same language and therefore cannot communicate. Crusoe names him Friday for the day of the week that they met. Over hundreds of years, it slowly gained traction to commonly refer to a woman or a man as a my girl or a my guy Friday. When that person exhibits admirable values and traits such as knowledge, competency, bravery, and loyalty. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like for you to meet and acknowledge my girl and my guy Friday. I don't know, and I think I bit off more than I can chew. I believe those were the first words I uttered when I approached Maggie. And from the day forward, in true Maggie fashion, she simply picked up whatever was dropped, glued together everything that fell apart, and coordinated and communicated with anyone and everyone that could ease the burden. All of this with an infallible positive attitude and smile. Thank you, Maggie. Eileen Flora. The moment I mentioned project and I need your help, Eileen materialized in a conference room, magically. With me, pen and pad, ready to write with a multitude of questions and solutions to problems, Eileen spent countless hours of involvement researching, inspecting, and producing this project, keeping us all on point and sane. Thank you, Eileen. Not present this evening is retail construction and signage, Mr. John Summer. And at the last minute, our ability to general contract was abandoned. And there was a multitude of ancillary items that were beyond our means. I have the pleasure of knowing John for over 15 years, working together and watching each other's families grow. All it took was one phone call, one text of where I was, and 1 hour to get to me and the words, "I'm in trouble," for John to appear with labor, materials, knowledge, and a schedule for us. Thank you, John Summer and Retail Construction. And David Nick, ultimately the man who with absolute certainty spent the most time and effort completing the project. Days, nights, and weekends. A technical advisor to us, an active participant in the labor, and a friend to everyone who met him. The Swahili word kujenga means to build. David was our Jenga, the person who prevented a more progressively unstable structure as well as the project from failing and falling. Thank you so much, David. I'd like to just lend honorable mention. In the course of completing a project of this size, it became quite necessary to invoke the assistance of others, both internally and externally. Therefore, PB Roofing would like to acknowledge the efforts of those not present today who were meaningful and sacrificial with their time and resources and chose to remain strictly anonymous. Newcastle Building Products, the Paramus Branch, Slezak Construction, Slavek Slezak, Green Bay Construction, Tony Cantorero, Mountain Ridge Landscaping, Peter Verga, Francesca's Pizza and Pasta, Adam Vukansek, DNN Deli, Wilder Lanos. These entities kept us moving, motivated, and most importantly, fed. Thank you. In closing, PB Roofing would like to thank Chief Foligno and the officers of the Elmwood Park Police Department for their service to our business and community. It was our pleasure to finally return to you an offer of thanks, and in the form of what we do best. This opportunity helped put on display and fulfill our core values of coachable, attention to detail, and resourcefulness. Cheers to you, Michael, and to our continued friendship. In the matter of PB Roofing versus the matter known as the Elmwood Park Pistol Range, I consider this matter officially closed. And as they say in every remodeling show, on to the next project. Thank you so much.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that when you have a company like this and others, all those dollars, material and labor that are saved, actually each and every taxpayer gets the benefit by that. Moving along, Erin?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to proceed with our regular agenda for the evening. So for those of you, you're more than welcome to stay, but please do not feel obligated to stay. With that being said, we have our engineers report. Under item number 1A is the Ruby Recycle inspection report for payment. This was first brought to our attention back in November. But with some staff changes at Alimo, we have finally gotten the inspection approval to pay the invoice to complete Rosemont Park. We had the resolution that approved the amount and the project, but because it's a grant, we need a resolution to approve payment. Any questions? Okay, next on our list, we have item number 1B, which was a request sent in from Alimo Group requesting a 2021 budget amount for miscellaneous projects that need immediate attention, and that amount is $25,000, again, for miscellaneous engineering services.
Michael, would you like to expand upon that a bit?
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Cristaldi and I and Miles Powell from Alimo, we had a conversation about some projects that we call upon them to address for us, and there was no line item budget for those types of situations. So we came up with a $25,000 allotment as a set aside for those types of miscellaneous engineering services.
Thank you. Moving along.
Any questions, or can this proposal be put on the agenda for next week? Perfect. 1C is current estimate number 1 for the CDBG improvements to Donor and Echo. 1D is current estimate number 1 and change order number 1 for the NJDOT Municipal Aid Project at Gilbert Avenue.
This is all grant money, correct?
All grant money for both, Mayor. 1E is current estimate number 2 for the Tuella Avenue water main improvements. Okay, lastly, that's all I have prior to Mr. Cristaldi's presentation. So everyone has a copy for 1F, his monthly status report, and Mr. Cristaldi, we just ask that you address those new items and not those items that have no change since the last report.
I'm sorry. Forgive me. If you could just put that on hold. Inadvertently, I didn't ask the council to speak on the roofing company that helped us out. So would you like to say a few words along the line here? I'm sorry, Mike.
Perfect.
I'd like to thank you very much. Elmwood Park's hearts, really, to every taxpayer and every resident that lives here. Without your assistance and without all your help, our police department has something proud to be now and be there. And please be safe and be healthy out there. Thank you so much.
Sandy?
Yes, I'd like to say thank you. When the community comes together like this, it's just a win-win for Elmwood Park, and you have such wonderful people that are working together, and we all appreciate it. And thank you, because I know the police department certainly appreciates this, and so do the rest of us. And thank you so much for everything you've done for them.
Lorraine?
Yes, I just wrote a little something. Thank you to PB Roofing. Thank you so much for stepping in to help get our training facility in good shape by fixing the roof and making many other repairs and upgrades to the building. We as a community appreciate all you have done to give our officers a safe and secure place to train. Thank you all again. We really appreciate it.
Denise?
Same as everyone else, thank you very much for doing that. It's a great thing that you did for the police department, and I know that they really appreciate it. Thank you.
Francesco?
Thank you, PB Roofing, for all you've done for our community. It speaks volumes to you, to the professionalism of your company when you give back to the community like that. So thank you.
Moving along. Okay, Mike.
Okay. Just the new items. The Marina Park improvements, we've got the survey done, so we'll start doing a design, because we're going to have to complete a design to get DEP permits. So I'll probably be in contact, as we develop the design to get feedback.
Mike, if you can get into the mic a little.
Sure.
Yeah.
As we need to complete the design to go for the DEP permits, and as we develop the design, we'll probably be looking for some feedback from the council. So we'll be in touch on that one.
Okay.
Washington Street, that one corner where they had the drainage problem, we did solicit 3 quotes. The lowest was $20,100. He's ready to go. If we authorize it, he'll call in the markouts tomorrow morning and get
Okay,
started.
let's talk a little about that. Washington Avenue, it's been a thorn in our side here. We had 3 quotes, and the cheapest, lowest quote, I should say, is 20,000, Mike?
20,100.
100, and what's the other 2 quotes on top of that?
There was one for 27,000, and the other, I think, was for about 32.
32, 27, and 20. Okay, we want to move on this, council? Anybody have a problem with that? No? Okay, Michael.
Okay? All right.
So we'll need a resolution for that then for next week, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so what was the amount and who is the,
So it was 20,100. It was MCI.
okay,
we have it.
thank you.
Do you want me to tell them to call the markouts and get started?
Yes?
Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
And as far as the climate goes, they should be able to work within these temperatures, right?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't get, 20 degrees, as long as it gets up
Yeah.
into the high 30s, they'll be able to blanket it once they put it in and keep it warm.
Right. Okay.
Okay, the 2019 municipal aid grant. This was granted in 2019, and you only had a 2-year limit to award the project. Now, I know there was some paving done, so it cut down on the limits that you would hope to do under the grant, and you probably only have half the road that you intended to do to start with. DOT doesn't really like to change the grants around, because at the time you apply, they have a whole set of criteria that they're using to compare your request to everyone else's, and that's how they determine how much funding you get. So they kind of discourage everybody just applying for anything, and then after they get the money, say, hey, by the way, we're going to do this and that. So they kind of try to force you into what you said you were going to do. I can ask them one last time if they'll let us repurpose the funds, but they have a lot of questions about how that road ended up getting paved when you already were asking for it to be paved. So I don't know.
So Mike, where's the problem here? So that we don't lose this grant?
So the engineer has to get permission to utilize the funds a change order type of a situation where we're not going to use it to pave because the majority of that road was paved with the county. We don't want to pave something that doesn't need paving. We want to repurpose those funds into a streetscape.
Right. And what you're saying, time is running out?
Yes, you have until March 25th to award the project.
To award the project?
To award it, and then, that means you have to figure out what it is you want to do, you have to design it, you have to advertise it and bid it. So if you wanted to use the funds to pave what's left, and you'd have some money probably left over, you can do a little bit of sidewalk if you needed it. You would probably be able to do that with the co-op, so you wouldn't have to advertise the project. You still have to submit a set of plans to DOT. They want to see what you're going to do. They want to review it, and then they'll authorize you to go ahead and for you to authorize and grant the award of the project to someone. Otherwise, we can ask them to repurpose it, but if they don't repurpose it, you'll probably be right up against the deadline, and there may not be time for you to do anything. And if they don't grant you an extension, then you'll lose the funds.
Mike, was this where we were going to take the money in the needless paving and put it towards the lights going down?
Yes.
Okay. So are we going to meet this deadline? What's the holdup? Where are we lacking? What do we have to do to make sure we don't go past the deadline and secure the grant?
Well, I think one thing you ought to take a look at is, when I look at that road there's so many power poles on one side of the street. I don't know how you're going to get any lights in there without taking out all the sidewalk and putting poles up in between them. It may not really be that practical to do the lighting under this grant. The rest of that road does need to be paved. So, I mean, you kind of have to decide what you want to do. Is it worth it to you to pave the rest of that road, and then whatever funds you need to do the lighting, you do that separately?
Yeah. Now, Mike, this is the area where we said didn't need the paving. You're saying it needs it now?
Yeah, from Veterans to Linden, where you go underneath Route 80, the road there really isn't that good. It could use a paving. The county did from Market up to Veterans, and you could tell the difference in the pavement, right where it ends. But if you ride the rest of the road, it really isn't that good. And when I spoke to Scott Cars, he said they had to do some excavating under Route 80 to do some work on the sewer. So, the road could use a paving. So you just got to make sure you don't lose the funds and because you wanted to do lighting and you end up with nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, we don't want that to happen. We want to end up with something, not nothing.
Yeah. So I'm just saying that the fastest thing to do would be to do a set of plans for the paving, submit it to DOT, and then you could award it under the co-op. You don't have to waste any time advertising and bidding, and that saves you a lot of time. So you could, I guess the March meeting, you still have time in the March meeting to award it. I mean, they're not going to do anything if you award it on the 26th and it was due the 25th. I mean,
Once the job's awarded, though, there'll be some slack in
then, no, that's okay. It just has to be awarded.
Yeah,
That's all.
Okay. Mike, what say you on the subject?
Mayor, I think, and Councilman Gollabach just walked in, I know he's going to have something to say about this. I think we would like to explore all options and pursue the lighting, which is what we kind of pitched to our residents, and I think the council in general were all for that. So if we play with a little more time and really try to push that through, I think that's what we would like to do, but I'd like to have Councilman Gollabach speak on that.
What, Michael, just before, excuse me, Daniel, what you're saying is there isn't enough time to go through with Mike's proposal here?
I would have to get an answer from DOT. I mean, if they tell me, no, we're not going to allow you to use the funding for the lights, then you either just give up the funding, which doesn't make any sense. You might as well at least pave with the money. I mean,
Okay.
and that's why we're going to have to see what they say, whether we can convince them to let you read.
Well, I know Ali did some work on this with them, and I believe we got verbal from them that they would approve it.
I don't know, but that might have been for the limits on the other project where we wanted to go to the Garfield border. I don't know if he got it for this one. This was with the
can we design a project, a lighting project, from talking about the boulevard, Market, all the way to the Garfield Waterworks, right? Get that out to bid, and put an alternate in there for paving. The limits being what they want us to do as it stands. And in the interim, work our contacts to get the project rescoped. That way, because you can bid out a bigger project all the time and then apply the grant towards the project.
Yeah, the problem I see with that is DOT wants to know what you're gonna do, and you have to send them a set of plans. They're gonna approve one thing or the other, and that's what you're gonna build.
I understand, but we do this all the time where we get community development money. We bid out $1 million project, and we only got 100 grand towards one street, and it's being applied towards that street within the project. We've done this before.
Yeah, it's community development block grants. They're a little bit different than the DOT.
So if we're telling them we have this big plan for the boulevard, and within this project is what we got a grant for, and it's in the plans, what would their objection be?
The main objection I get from DOT is that when you applied for the grant, they'll tell me, you applied
Right.
for the grant, you told us what you wanted to do and where you wanted to do it. You gave us specific limits, you gave us a cost estimate, you told us exactly what you wanted to do. And based on that, they took that and they evaluated it with their criteria and decided how much funding you should get. And now, if you change the project, they seem to get upset that now they don't really know whether or not they would have ever granted you that much money in the first place for a completely different project. And that's what they tell me
This
when I
is a
try
project within a project, meaning we're trying to take advantage, cost efficiency. So let's say we want to pave the limits that they want us to, but we also want to do the lights on the boulevard. Why would they object to, as part of one design project, other elements existing within it? And the paving is there. The paving they want is there.
Yeah, the paving is what they're gonna pay for. They don't care what else you
Understood.
do. You could do water mains, sewer lines, whatever
Right.
else you wanna do, they're just not gonna pay for that.
So to not lose the opportunity, why can't we approach it that way? And then in the interim, we could see if there are other ways we could reach the DOT, through our legislators and whatnot, to see if they could get on board with what we want to do. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because-
He's
because
got
we're-
a sunset of March.
Yeah.
I understand that, but the lighting project, you guys should be having a proposal to us, any day now. This is a month and a half old,
Yeah,
you know?
the lighting project, like you said, you wanted to stay in that little grass strip, which,
Correct.
when I take a look at it, I don't think that can work in a lot of places on that road. There's a whole series of power lines going down the road, and they're probably every 150 feet. There's a power line in the middle of that grass strip. There's a little thought that's gonna have to go into just putting in the conduits.
No, I understand, but
for that-
your
for that
firm
lighting.
did the work up until this point. We didn't change any engineers in the middle. This has been Alamo Engineering from
Right.
start to finish on everything. That's
Right.
that's the problem. If you were a new engineer and there was a different company, we get that there would be confusion, but we've been proceeding this way based on Alamo Engineering okaying it and submitting it that way. So that's the,
All right, well, if what you're saying is all I can tell you is I can ask DOT if they will allow you to put some of the funds into the lighting, but they want a set of plans for the paving unless they grant you an extension.
right.
Sal, please, join in.
If I may interject,
Yeah.
I think what Councilman Golovak is saying is you're going to present a project
Yeah.
to the DOT. And with that project,
Testing.
other than giving this the specific, thank you, other than giving the specific project itself that you're looking for, what they're going to fund, is he's asking to give them the project with other things included which they will not be paying on.
Right.
So the aspect can be put to a point where you can say, this is the project that's a big project, but the one you're paying is over here as part of that big project.
And the
So
bigger
I
project,
think
not
under-
to cut you off, is also DOT money. The
Yeah.
lighting project is DOT money, so we have all DOT money, and we just throw it into one design, and then maybe we'll get lucky and be able to contact, Backway, and take the paving out. I don't know.
You,
That's-
you want to try to do that? We can do that. I can come up with a set of plans for you and got to get into DOT
I've
quickly.
been trying to get this rescoped. I've been looking back in my emails for over a year. I unfortunately don't have the power to call DOT myself. So I thought about this, and to me, this is the most efficient way where we move forward on the lighting project, we don't miss the March 25th deadline, and, you know, once you award a design, there's back channels and different people we can talk to see if they would be open-minded to this kind of change. That's my best suggestion, so.
Council agreement to pursue it as Daniel has stated? Yes? Okay. All right, Mike.
So you want lighting and paving,
Correct. Paving for the stretch that they are looking for, right?
right?
But if we bid it out as kind of two pieces, or as the paving be an alternate piece, it won't marry us to paving it with the contractor. You get what I'm saying? If lighting is the main part of the design, and paving's in there, but you bid it out as lighting is number one, and, you know, paving is an alternate, so the contractor doesn't know whether or not the borough will go ahead with it, I don't think that should make a difference to the state. That's an internal decision, right?
Well, if they awarded you for the paving,
Right.
and then you go out there and they haven't approved funding for the lighting, to be switched to lighting, and then you don't do the paving, they're just gonna say, you didn't do anything we can pay for.
I wouldn't do it that way. Only, at the end of the day, we would follow what the grants as they were supposed to be.
So there's not gonna be an alternate, you're gonna do the paving, period.
If all options are exhausted. I mean, I don't know, all I've seen so far is a bunch of emails back and forth between yourself and the DOT. I'm told there were verbal agreements before. I don't know whether we've exhausted all options.
Right.
So, I didn't create this problem. This is my suggestion for how to fix it. Because if we're doing work on the boulevard and we're gonna bid it out to 2 or 3 separate projects, in general, it's just not efficient to begin with. So, I don't know, maybe an offline conversation to clear this up might make sense.
Yeah, I think so.
Tomorrow or something.
Maybe we have a call tomorrow, and that'd be a good idea. And then what else we got here? The traffic signal at River Road and River Drive intersection, I got another call from the county. They insist that it's up to the town to do the construction plans. So
Do we got a cost factor on that?
I'm gonna have to give you a proposal on that, because what he's telling me is you have to make sure that the one end, they're looking at, the one end could get close to the river, and they said to me, you have to stay away from needing any permits, because Eugene Murphy, he said to me, if you have to start getting permits, forget it, this job, it'll never happen. So, you're gonna have to resurvey, we're gonna have to make sure we stay far enough away from the river, and then that affects the takings on the other side of the street, the further we have to move away from the river. So what we'd have to do is really go out and do a detailed survey, get all the topography, and then from there, figure out, make sure where we are to be far enough away that we don't need any permits, and then we'll determine what the takings have to be.
Can you get us a proposal
I'll get you a proposal
ASAP?
on that. Yes.
Council, we'll wait on the proposal, then give them the go-ahead?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
No matter what, because the county doesn't have to do it.
Say that?
It's a good deal no matter what, because the county doesn't have to do this. We asked them to look at it, and they're open-minded to it, but if we have to pay, I don't know, whatever, $100,000 to design it, for them to do the whole, redo that whole thing,
Bite your tongue, 100,000.
that's a win.
Yeah.
Don't give him no ideas.
Well, I'm just throwing numbers out.
Get us a proposal, Mike.
I will.
All right.
And then maybe tomorrow we'll have a discussion.
Sure.
We'll go over this to see if we can straighten it out. And that's the only 3 things that had come up really that were new.
Okay.
We're okay?
Anything else from the council to our engineer? All right, Mike, just see we can proceed on the boulevard and get us that proposal on the lighting situation.
Yep. All right.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
Yes.
Moving along, Ms. Delaney?
Okay. Okay, Mayor, next on the agenda, we have our correspondence for the evening, and under correspondence, I have included our RAP program update under item 2A, which has no backup for the mayor and council, but with that being said, I will turn it over to Councilwoman Pellegrin.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say a few words about the RAP. We have an announcement to make tonight. The Residents Assistance Program Committee is proud to announce that we will be adding a food pantry to our program. We want those in need to be able to have help whenever they need it. This program started 3 years ago, and we always talked about finding a location to house food and basic essentials. Through the brainstorming of our RAP coordinator, Angela Fava, and the chief, a location was found. We are also excited to be able to offer this service to our residents in need. I would like to thank the RAP coordinators, Angela Fava and Dion York, and Chief Feligno, and the entire RAP committee for all they do on a daily basis to help our residents. Also, I'd like to thank everyone for their generous donations to fund this program. At this time, I'd like to call up Angela Fava and Dion York to discuss the details on the pantry. Angela and Dion, please come up.
Where's the mic? Sal's got the mic? You're moving tonight.
And,
Testing.
no, right here. These two chairs, come right up. Yeah.
Welcome, ladies.
How about that mic? Wait, maybe you should try using this mic. I think we'll hear you better. They come up to the table. If Denise is okay with it? I think we'll hear you better. Just speak right into it.
Okay. I might fog up a second. Good evening, Mayor and Council, Chief Feligno, and Erin Delaney. It is with great pleasure that the Residents Assistance Program is announcing its newest program, the People's Pantry. Back in March of 2020, when the COVID pandemic began to take its toll on New Jersey, our small town of Elmwood Park was no stranger to this virus. Unfortunately, many of our residents suffered. Jobs were lost, people were sick, and unemployment. During this time, the business administrator's office and the mayor's office became inundated with phone calls from our residents needing many different things. Sometimes people would call needing help with unemployment claims. Other days, senior citizens would call needing someone simply to run to the grocery store or a ride to get a flu shot. Many families called struggling to keep food on their tables. Even at one point during a storm, a resident called needing help to find a place to keep medication, IV medication, cold. As the holidays approached, our residents needed more. The blessing here is that every one of these issues were resolved. And the reason they were resolved was because of the strong leadership and continuous effort put forth by Chief Feligno and Councilwoman Pellegrin. Their simple willingness to think outside of the box to help our residents in need, an undying commitment to simply serve the residents of Elmwood Park is remarkable. I saw it firsthand. However, unfortunately, there's still one remaining need, and that lingers, and that is food. And that is how the People's Pantry was born. The People's Pantry will be a place where residents can come to get supplies in the event of a misfortune. These essentials would be given to them until a secured appointment for a food center or a food bank can be in place. This pantry will be stocked 3 times a year, annual food drives in our town from our residents, therefore giving our residents an opportunity to help one another. Donations from the Residents Assistance Program through the RAP program will help keep our shelves stocked. I speak on behalf of Dion and myself and the Residents Assistance Program Committee when I ask and hope that you will all be just as excited as we are to give our residents another avenue of support. During these difficult times, the People's Pantry will make a big difference in our small corner of the world. and we are very excited about it. Thank you. I can't breathe. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank- Mayor, can I say one more thing?
Absolutely.
I just have to say, the two in front of me and the chief, everybody here is phenomenal. The whole committee has helped so much, but I can't tell you the work that these two ladies sitting here before us have done, because they hear it firsthand on a daily basis. We hear it, I see it myself doing this program for 3 years. I know Councilwoman Ingwe and Councilwoman Wetchler are very involved in the program also. But they're the ones on a daily basis that get these calls that are simply heartbreaking. And to have this pantry now is another way that we can really help our residents. And some people say, oh, it's not such a big deal. It is a big deal, because the women up here and the councilman and the mayor have seen the faces of these residents when you hand them a gift card for food, or when you give them supplies that they cannot get themselves. And I don't care what you say, most of us in this room have been through a situation sometime in our life, maybe when we were kids, maybe in our 20s, but we've all felt the pain of not being able to provide for our families. So having this other element of help just brings so much pride to our community. And I know Marlene DiStefano always uses this word. She says we have angels in this town, and we certainly do. We have so many angels that have helped this program, and I'm just so grateful to you, the chief, the whole committee, and everyone in this room, because one person can't do this, and the council has always backed us, and the mayor. Go forward, do what you need to do. So we're so happy tonight and so blessed and so grateful to have this new pantry in our community, and I know with these women leading the way as our RAP coordinators, it's going to just get bigger and better. So thank you, ladies, very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Amen.
I just
Great
want to
program.
second what Lorraine and Angela's been saying. It has been a rewarding experience to be part of this program, and I just want to thank you, Lorraine, from the bottom of my heart, for you to take this time to really give this town what they really needed. They have shown me, just working just this year, how much they have given, so much of not just their heart, but their generosity of their time. And I appreciate being part of it. And this, I know, it's just baby steps, but it's going to be a big thing. I'm so grateful to be here at the beginning of this. Thank you.
Well said, Dion. Thank you, ladies. Great program, great people. You can't ask for more than that. Moving along.
Okay, Mayor, item number 2B under correspondence was a request from ECA Solar regarding a community solar request to have a letter of support from the mayor. I know that our borough attorney was going to try to reach the individual to get a little bit more information, but just putting it on the council's radar that this request came in for a letter of support from the mayor for a community solar project.
Well,
Mayor, with all due respect, I attempted, we still got to get together to discuss it. I will continue to attempt to address it. My concern is I just don't want to have the borough put in a position where you're giving benefit to someone who's a private industry over someone else, and we don't want to be recognized as being that kind of, put you in that kind of situation. So before I give you my opinion whether it's a good idea or bad, I'd like to get more information from them and what they're actually out to do.
yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with you, Sal. What's this company looking for, an endorsement? And isn't that discrimination?
Yeah, well, that's my concern.
Yeah.
They're looking for an actual endorsement.
Well, they're not going to get it from me, that's for sure. They're not asking for the council's approval. But I'd say to them, go out and based on your own merit, get your jobs. But ask the mayor or any mayor to endorse them.
Well, that's my problem.
Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we're on the same page.
Okay, 2C was sent out by our borough administrator via email, but also a hard copy in front of you is our fiscal year 2020-2021 CDBG award letter for 17th Avenue road improvements. Items D, E, F, and G are our meeting dates for the Library Board, Board of Health, Rec Advisory Board, and Planning Board for 2021.
Erin, there's just one correction on the planning board meeting dates for Monday, November 10th. It's actually going to be changed to Monday, November 8th, since the council meeting was
Yes, I actually already updated that on our website, and I believe the planning board secretary, Lori, already consulted with me about making the change in the newspaper.
Great, thank you.
And Council, regarding the board members, everything stayed basically the same as far as appointments go and liaisonships, so we're in good shape that way.
Okay, moving on to resolutions. Under 3A, we have a request from our fire official for the increase in hourly rates for the individuals that were under a probationary period, as other employees have been increased to $20 an hour after the 90-day probationary period, so we'll just need an authorizing resolution for these two individuals. 3B are 3 firefighter requests, volunteers,
What are they requesting? Do we know?
to become a volunteer firefighter.
Okay.
3C is the CDBG grant endorsement authorization resolution that was requested by Millennium Strategies for a grant application. Three D is a request from our tax department regarding a tax exemption for a disabled veteran.
Don't we have that in place now?
Yes, but whenever each individual veteran that's eligible has to make an application, and we have to approve that via resolution.
Per application?
Yeah,
Okay.
per each individual.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, 3E is the Department of Defense 1033 program annual resolution. Again, this is something we do on an annual basis. You could see 2020s in front of you. Our police department participates in this program. We get some equipment and vehicles, oftentimes free of cost. So it's something, in order to remain eligible, that we have to adopt every year. 3F, there was an error on a past road opening performance bond request, so we just need to make an adjustment to that. Three G is a request from our rec director to move forward with hiring I believe, part-time maintenance and custodian, and also eliminate the current cleaning services provider. And included in there is the job description and the proposed hourly rate. So he basically just needs your approval in order to solicit resumes and applications, and your approval to no longer have Open Works do the cleaning services there, as this would take place of that.
Mr. Foligno, could you break that down for us, please?
Yes, Mayor. The Recreation Director approached me. He said that he didn't feel the cleaning service was adequate solution for keeping the building in order. They come in once a day, often early in the morning, when children are there and activities are going on. You know, things happen, accidents happen, spills happen, there's maintenance issues. So he's proposing to eliminate that service, which costs us a little over $25,000 a year, and having a custodian who has the ability to do minor handiwork and, you know, minor electrical and plumbing and outdoor and indoor maintenance and facilities management at a starting salary of $15 an hour, which would cost the borough about $18,000, which would be a savings, and he would have somebody there more often and would suit his needs better.
Okay, so basically, what I'm getting out of this is that this custodian also will be a maintenance man. Hopefully, he'll have some handyman characteristics about him, and we'll get the best of both worlds there.
That's what the proposal is for, and that's the way he articulated it to me.
Excellent. Counsel?
Is this a position for during the day, or is this going to be after hours?
Would be mostly during the day or maybe like an afternoon shift where it kind of overlaps.
Anyone else care to speak on this? No? We're good? We're all good?
Because that's about up to 29 hours, is that pretty much how?
It's staying under full-time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So we won't have to worry about the extra cost there because it's staying non-full-time. So we're good on that, right? Okay, moving along.
Okay, moving along, we have 2 vacation buyback requests from the DPW. Also placed in front of your chairs this evening were 2 requests for retirement payouts, also from the DPW and the police department. I just received them late today, but given the time frame, I put them all in front of you, and we could also do it in tandem with the vacation buybacks, if that's okay with you.
This is basically perfunctory.
And it was approved by the CFO. This is where the resolutions came from today.
Okay. We good, counsel, on this item? Yeah?
Okay, 3I is the fire department fourth quarter stipend report from the fire department. Any questions? 3J is the annual reappointments for our Special 2 officers and SSOs. Again, it's an annual reappointment that needs to be done every year.
Michael, break this down for us, please.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I was sending an email. Can you repeat that?
This is the SSO and Special 2. I said it's an annual appointment that needs to be done every year.
Yes, so the school security officers have to have a resolution reappointing them every year. Currently, we have 1 special law enforcement 2 officer, and we are adding a second, which the council approved some time ago, and we just didn't get around to advertising it and interviewing and doing background. We chose our person, and we're ready to move forward on it. The academy starts in 3 weeks.
Okay, so we're not adding, we're just fulfilling a former promise.
Correct.
Okay, counsel? Okay? Moving along.
Okay, though it's not on the agenda, and I don't normally do this, I did receive today from Emily in payroll the fire department storm standby from the snow gale in December. He had submitted it, I believe, to the borough administrator and payroll, but did not submit it to me, and being that he's a new fire chief, I figured I would make the exception and add it onto the agenda tonight, just so that our volunteers don't have to wait to get paid, and now that he knows the procedure, to submit it to the clerk so that it can go on the agenda, he'll move forward that way. So I'll pass it out to everyone just so that you have it in front of you to review before giving me approval for the agenda next week.
Switcheroo there, huh?
So as you can see, most individuals worked on standby 4.5 hours, and the standby request totals just over $2,000.
Okay.
Is that okay with everyone?
I think that's a pretty good deal to have that kind of concentration in case there was a disaster at moment's notice. I don't think you can put a price tag on that. So, we good with this, counsel?
Okay, with that being said, that concludes our resolutions. For ordinances, I have 2 draft ordinances submitted by our borough attorney, the first one being for commercial vehicle parking in residential zones.
Gotta get him the mic. Thank you, Michael. Mr. Ingraffia?
Yes, Mayor, with the first one, which is the regarding the parking is at the request of I believe the traffic officer, and also the building department in conjunction. They were concerned because the ordinance does not clearly specify a particular size of vehicle and the tonnage, and therefore this really clarifies the ordinance in more detail. And basically it closes up any kind of loophole with regards to the description of a vehicle itself.
Mike, would you like to expand on that?
Sure, Mayor. We received some complaints about, in certain residential areas, buses, smaller buses being parked in residents' driveways, and some larger box trucks. So the building inspector and I got together on it, and we were sure that it was somewhere covered in the ordinance, and the ordinance was silent on it. So we spoke with him regarding other towns and how they handle it, and they all have those vehicles spec'd out in their ordinance. So we added it to ours because those vehicles don't belong in residential neighborhoods. We did allow for, we're not going to hurt contractors who have larger pickup trucks. So there's a weight and size limit on these vehicles to allow for the contractors to have their vehicles at their homes.
So it has to do with weight and size, it doesn't have to do with commercial and non-commercial plates?
No, commercial and non-commercial was already covered by the ordinance. The ordinance was silent on, like I said, buses and larger box trucks.
Okay. Counsel? Okay. I guess we'll move along here. This would also apply to you, Mr. Graffia. The large vehicle parking under ordinances?
Conjunction with the two, with the other, they're both in a similar situation. What's been happening is that there's been trucks and trailer trucks parked in residential areas where they were leaving steam there for a very long time. And this is accommodating that aspect and preventing that to occur.
Yeah. How do we get the message out? This way, people that are parking these large vehicles, they get heads up, at least some type of fair warning.
What's going to happen is that I'm sure under the particular areas, there's going to be signages put up.
Signage. That's the way we'll get the word out, Mike?
Mayor, we can do it a few ways. We can, in the situations where we're receiving the complaints, to be fair, we could educate the residents, issue warnings, written warnings, and provide them with a copy of the amended ordinance. We could also post the ordinance on our website and our social media outlets.
Okay. After that, they're on their own. Moving along?
Okay, Mr. Ingraffia, on these two copies, I noticed that there are some, underlining and strikeouts, and I believe there was one more thing that Officer Pride suggested. So just to make sure I have the right version for the meeting, can you send me the final copy?
Yes, the one that you have here that I sent you last is the actual final aspect of it. And I'll make sure that I'll check it out.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, that's all for ordinances, Mayor. Next, we have our departmental reports. We have the EMS call report for December 2020, Zoning Board of Adjustment minutes for November 23rd, 2020, Millennium Strategies report, which is our grant writer for the entire year through December 2020, December 2020 municipal court report, Library Board meeting minutes for November 16th, 2020, Planning Board minutes from December 2nd, 2020, Board of Health meeting minutes from October 19th, 2020, 2020 Building Department assignment tracker, and the Rent Leveling Board meeting minutes from December 3rd, 2020.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Council reports. Mr. Fasola, I'll let you go first tonight.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to start off
Oh,
by...
excuse me. My second mistake on the evening, bear with me. Mrs. Ingley, please. Ladies before gentlemen. I'm sorry.
Mayor, sorry, this is going to be a little longer than my normal council report. Just bear with me, and if I don't look at you, any of you while I'm saying this, it's because I don't want to get too emotional. But I am sorry to report that tonight will be my last council meeting. I will be resigning at 11:59 p.m. I would like to thank this borough. Elmwood Park has been my home for almost 25 years. In those 25 years, I have seen a lot of ups and downs in our borough. For the first 22 years, I lived a political-free life in town. The mom of three and the wife were my main roles. I dedicated my life to my family. I volunteered in every way possible. I worked in my kids' preschool, then elementary school, and even their middle school. I did a lot of these jobs to offset costs and tuitions for the betterment of my family. I've worn many hats in this town. In 2017, I was given an opportunity to wear a hat that not many people want, a political one. The opportunity to serve my town in a role that would be appreciated by most, but not by all. I found myself quickly the victim of false attacks and false accusations, not only against me, but also against my family. I was warned about this, so like everything else in my life, I prepared. I prepared by learning not to respond. The truth is the truth, and negative people have no room in their agenda for the truth. End of story. On the flip side of this political career, I have made many, many, many more people happy. I have served with these amazing men and women on this dais, and we as a group have done a lot of wonderful things for Elmwood Park. I am excited to see and start writing the next chapter in my life, but I am also sad to be leaving these individuals. To the residents, thank you for trusting in me. Thank you for your overwhelming support through these last few years, not only as your councilwoman, but also your utmost support to my family. To the fire department, thank you for allowing me to be your commissioner. We have built a great relationship, and I have established many lifelong friends. To the mayor, I want to personally thank you for being a good man. We have a little family history that connects you and my grandparents. When we speak, I feel respected by you, and I appreciate that. I will miss you and the great relationship that we have. To Ms. Delaney, thank you, Erin. Thank you for everything, mostly for being a friend I never expected to have. With our age difference, you would think we would have nothing in common, but it's quite the opposite. Our values and understanding of each other have made us friends for life. I will hold on to that forever. To Sal, Mr. Attorney, thank you for your guidance and for your unwavering friendship. Your family has supported mine, and I will never forget that. I will miss your random one-line jokes and the chuckle that follows. They always make me laugh. Chief Foligno, Mike, you are one of a kind. You are so caring. You go above and beyond for the residents and for all of us. You speak with respect and authority. You have combined your roles in this borough to bring us to where we are today. I've watched you grow into this role as borough administrator and do it with class. I have seen you give so much attention to matters that in the past were dismissed and made the residents feel unheard. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for all you do. We will always be a family because blue bloodlines never die. To Councilwoman Pellegrin, your dedication to serve this town should never be questioned. I want to thank you for all that you do and for giving me the opportunity to do it with you. Our commitment to helping people in need and giving back made us a powerful team. I know that you will continue to do great things for Elmwood Park, and I will miss being a part of it. Sorry, guys. To Councilman Fasolo, Francesco, you're a great teacher and just a great man. Your dedication to your students and now to this borough is so appreciated. Continue on this path because Elmwood Park needs people like you. Thank you. To Councilwoman Wetchler, my running mate and friend, man, did we get put through the ringer together. Hey, but we survived and we won. There is not another person in the world that I would have chose to do that with. You were a friend when I needed, a mom on our campaign walks, and a coach when I wanted to quit. I am so proud of you and all of your accomplishments, and I will always be your partner. To Councilwoman Balistrieri, this is a tough one. Sandy and I have been friends for a very long time. Sandy is the type of friend that is open-minded. She is also loyal, but always chooses to do the right things for the residents. Her commitment to this town and desire to improve it should be commended. Sandy, I will miss you very much, but know that our friendship will continue on for many years to come. To Councilman Golombek, Danny, my mentor, my friend, my advisor, although you are half my age, Danny, I look up to you and respect you in every single way. You have taught me about facts. Facts matter. Words that will never leave me. Forget the nonsense and follow the facts, Denise. You're a man of wisdom, and you know how and when to use that, and that is very important in life. I wish you nothing but the best in all your future endeavors. I know that you are going to do great things in this world. I will be watching from afar, and promise me one thing, Danny. When you're a famous lawyer, you still give me the family discount, because Lord knows I need your advice. Thank you, Danny. And lastly, to my family, thank you for loving me through this. It is not an easy thing for families of politicians to see their loved ones being abused or hurt. Thank you for helping and guiding me through the crazy late nights of stress and agita. In the few years that I have served on this council, I have served under 3 mayors. I have served them and this town to the best of my ability. Some decisions I had to make did not make me a fan favorite all the time, but I stand by those decisions because they were the best decisions for you, the resident. You deserve the best. I want to thank you all again for this opportunity to serve you.
Mr. Fasolo. Yes. You're up.
I don't know if I'm going to get a standing ovation for mine. I have just a few things. I just want to commend the RAP program. Truly, truly remarkable to see what the things that they're doing around our town and for our residents. I want to really thank Councilwoman Pellegrin for her passion. And I remember sitting around the table with her when this came to fruition and seeing in her eyes the passion that she really, really wanted to help people. And to see it come to this point after 3 years is truly remarkable. So thank you, Councilwoman Pellegrin. I want to thank the council last week for appointing me as the council representative to the planning board. I'm looking forward to a productive year there. And for Councilwoman Ingwe, Elmwood Park is truly going to miss you. Your relentless passion and dedication to this borough and its residents did not go unnoticed. You have set the bar high for all who may want to serve in the future. Everything you've spearheaded while on this council was done with 100% of your heart and soul. Even when you felt your heart was the more difficult choice to make, you always went with what you truly believed what was the right decision for our residents, not what was best for politics or party. I wish you and your family nothing but health and happiness in the future. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Fasolo. Mr. Golombek.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to echo Councilman Fasolo, Councilwoman, and Angela and Dion. Wonderful work. I'm looking forward to seeing this project take off, and I know it's going to do great things and continue on the great things you're doing. To my friend Denise, it's a sad moment to have you walk away. I remember the first time I really met you, and it was I knew of you, we knew of each other, but I remember running for office in 2016, and I had my first fundraiser of my life. And it was at Royal Warsaw, and I had the whole restaurant to myself, and I remember being like so nervous that not enough people would come, the room would be half empty, like that's all I could think about was the stress in my mind of it looking like a failure. And I remember you coming with your husband, and we didn't even really know each other at that point. We knew of each other, and you both came, and I remember how good I felt that there were people who knew of me but were not close to me that felt the need to come and support me, and it meant a lot to me. And as you mentioned, your first dip the first time you dipped your toe in politics was a messier one, and it didn't leave you with the best impression. And I remember sitting with you at a diner with Councilwoman Ballestieri the following year, and just trying to get you to give another shot and saying, trust me, like I'm going to be with you. I'm going to, stay with me, and this is going to be a good thing for you. The experience you had is not really what it's all about. It was just unfortunate that's the way it went. So I thank you for trusting me then. I thank you for your friendship. We've had a lot of different conversations over the years, political ones, funny ones, emotional ones. But I think what's important is that I know I have you as a close friend, and to me that is a very small group of people that I consider in that category. So there's a lot of good and bad that comes out of doing this stuff in politics, and the friendship with you is one of the best. So thank you for your service. Thank you for your kind words. And I hope that our friendship continues, way past Elmwood Park and all the politics and stuff. So all the best to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Golombek. Councilwoman Pellegrin.
I'll start off with Denise, because I have a couple reports. Councilwoman Ingwe, I wish you and your family all the best. I thank you for your service to our community. I know we will continue to work together with the Residence Assistance Program, with you working for our school system. Your passion for helping others and those in need is evident in everything that you do. I've witnessed your kindness and your compassion firsthand. And again, I thank you for everything you do. And just a quick story about Denise. Anytime that a family needs help and she hears about it, she steps up to the plate and she helps them. And something that really touched my heart is when we had our toy drive recently for Christmas, people in need came to get toys. And this one family couldn't even get here to get the toys. And there was a little envelope that she sent in that was to pay, and I'm going to cry too, so don't cry. I'm not saying this to make you cry, but she sent money to get this family here with an Uber and to get them home so that they can have a pick of the toys that were there. And that just really struck me. And there's many, many more instances like that, but that is the most recent. And another one that touched my heart was a family that their daughter passed away, and the grandchildren wanted to go to camp, and they didn't have the funds to do it. And that family had been through so much, a family losing their daughter, and now their grandchildren wanted to participate with the other children. And again, Denise and her foundation stepped in, and those kids went to camp. And those are just a couple of the stories. We haven't been friends for long, or I don't have a history with Denise, but we have one thing that we bond with, and that's the passion to help those in need. And we bond together as sisters like that. So I respect you for all you do, and I wish you nothing but happiness, health. And I know we're still going to be with the RAP, and we're still going to help more people. So thank you. Now I have to go on to my reports, Mayor, because I have some committees here.
That's okay.
So my Board of Health update. The Board of Health had their reorganization and regular monthly meeting on Monday, January 11th. New officers were appointed for 2021. Board of Health President John DiMarzio, Vice President Angela Kraft, Treasurer Jeanette Randazzo, Shanae Morris was appointed Deputy Registrar, and Marlene DiStefano is the Board of Health Secretary. The Board of Health meets on the second Monday of each month at 7 p.m., and there will be no meetings in July and August. Also, for those wanting to register for COVID-19 vaccine, you can go to co.bergennj.us website for more information and updates. My police update. 2020 year-end report, 52,214 calls for service. I'm going to read a lot of statistics here. It'll only take me a minute or two, but it's for those that don't have a computer and are just going to view this on TV. So that's why I'm reading it, so bear with me. Total motor vehicle stops, 3,381. Total summonses issued, 11,515. Total motor vehicle accidents, 718. Motor vehicle impounds, 178. Adult arrests, 362. Juvenile arrests, 8. Police officers assaulted, 11. Residential burglaries, 22. Attempted residential burglaries, 8. Stolen motor vehicles, 28. Burglaries to motor vehicles, 87. Armed robberies, 8. Assault investigations, 92. Shoplifting investigations, 31. Sudden death investigations, 29. Drug overdoses, 24. Narcotic arrests, 179. Domestic violence cases, 195. Missing persons, 25. Bank escorts, 76. Vacant resident checks, 574. Community policing detail, 442. Medical first responder calls, 1,430. Burglar alarm checks, 485. General fire calls, 316. The Anti-Crime Division, motor vehicle stops, 1,917. Motor vehicle summonses, 2,377. Narcotic arrests, 162. Warrants and other arrests, 23. Firearm arrests, 5. Currency seized, $71,235. Traffic and Operations Division, motor vehicle stops, 468. Motor vehicle summonses, 2,057. Commercial overweight summonses, 56. Commercial overweight Fines, $86,875. Funeral escorts, $25. Policing and food pickups, 80, and firearm permit investigations, 293. To those who want to review this list again, you can go www.elmwoodparkpd.com. And I'm sorry for taking so long, but for those that don't have a computer, it's important to see what our police department does. And now, as you can see, it was a challenging year for everyone, especially our police department. Dealing with a deadly virus and all the challenges it brings, along with all of their daily duties and situations that come up with their job, it was a rough year for our officers. As always, they did an amazing job serving our community and keeping us all safe. I'm so proud of each and every one of our officers. I thank Chief Foligno for leading such a great department and for always showing kindness and compassion to our residents. God bless Elmwood Park Police Department for all they do for our community on a daily basis. Progress, Mayor.
Moving along.
Oh, sorry. Denise, with a heavy heart, I have to say goodbye to my running mate and my friend tonight for not sitting on the council with us. You have been one special person here with us. You and I fought a hard fight for the 2 seats that we have. We brought 2 women to the other 2 women, so we were the first in Elmwood Park that sat 4 females on this council. So nobody can take that away from us. Everything we said we'd do for this town running, we did. We did the best. We put our foot forward for everything we did, everything and everything we wanted to do. I want to say thank you. I'd like to thank you and your family for everything you did for this. I want you the best of everything for you and your family. I love you. I'm going to miss you sitting here with me. Progress.
Okay, first I just want to say this is very exciting, this food pantry coming about. I just love to watch how this program grows every year. And I mean, there were some people out there that had so much doubt, but we can obviously see that they were wrong. So excellent job, Councilman Pellegrin, and everybody involved in helping this grow each and every year. To Denise, I know tonight is difficult, being your last meeting. I also know that this has been 2 challenging years for you, but you survived. I just want to say I will miss working with you on this council, but more importantly, you always separated politics from friendship. That is truly admirable quality. Our friendship was never affected by this, and I'm grateful for that. Always know that when you leave this seat tonight, I will want you to know that you can always reach out to me. Each of us learn from people we meet, places we go, and through our experiences. This experience you will take with you in your next chapter of your life. You are a special friend with passion, commitment, enormous strength, and a love for the community. Thank you for your service to this community, and even more through Air is Beautiful. God bless you and your family.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. Regarding the COVID vaccine information, Michael, would you like to elaborate a little on that? I know there's a lot of people out there are wondering
Yes, Mayor. I'll
when
be
your
brief.
time's coming.
So we posted the information on our website and on social media. Basically, it's categories 1A and 1B right now. Vaccines are available to paid and unpaid healthcare workers, residents and staff of long-term and congregate care facilities, first responders, including sworn law enforcement and fire professionals, individuals over 65, and individuals 16 to 64 years old with certain medical conditions as defined by the CDC. You can register at various locations online for the vaccine, but the information can be found, like I said, on the borough website and on our social media pages.
Okay. Sal, would you like to say anything before I continue my report?
Yes, Mayor, I will. And I'm only going to address Councilwoman Ingrid. I have been here in this very, very long time. Been involved with many, many of the political shenanigans that happened in this town in the past. And I use that word loosely. But I've had the pleasure of meeting you. And I can tell you that the first time that I really saw you and read about you was when you ran the first time. And with my family, I felt, without yet meeting you, that you were the proper person to be here to represent this town. You just appeared, your demeanor, your approach, your campaigning was genuine, and it was from your heart. And that was felt, and I felt. And I supported you then. I supported you the second time around, which I was happy to do. And it has been a pleasure to meet you. And it's a sad moment when someone that meets an individual who's special has to lose her that way. So the only thing I can say is that I've been here, I will always be there, should you ever need anything, I'm here. And God bless you.
Thank you, Sal. Denise, you still want to go? I'll tell you something. So I got to give you my little background with Denise. My wife, who, if you tell her your birthday, she'll remember it for the next 100 years. She's got the dates in her head. I don't know how she does it. And people she remembers from the past. Well, Denise's family and my wife's family, actually, and correct me if I'm wrong, your grandfather and my wife's father, they lived together. He moved in. They were both from Denora, Pennsylvania. That's how they knew each other. Your grandfather was trying to move the family over, and you became very close. So I said to my wife, when Denise's name came up, I said, well, what kind of people are they? And she said, wonderful. The mother, the grandmother. So I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's a good thing. What I'd like to say is also I've been shortchanged of your presence. Only 1 year I got to work with you. I think you contain the basics that I've worked with a lot of council people. And the basics to me is compassion, being reasonable, being honest, and keeping the damn politics outside the door. And you possess all those qualities. I join with the balance of the council, and it's regrettable that you're going. So, with that, I want to make a motion to open the floor for public comment.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone from the public here to speak on any subject? Direct your questions to me, please. If not, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We had a captive audience. I think it's a great thing. It brightens us up. We're used to looking at the walls, but now we see human beings, and I think we're getting closer to life going back to normality. Probably towards the middle of the end of this year, we might not have to wear these, and the virus will be contained by the vaccine. So let's all stay positive and keep the goodwill amongst ourselves. With that, motion to adjourn?
Executive, Mayor.
Oh, executive, excuse me, I always forget that.
That's okay.
Okay, motion to go into executive.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Whereas the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, and whereas the governing body which wishes to discuss legal reports, litigation, and personnel, minutes will be kept, and once the matter involving the confidentiality of the above no longer requires that confidentiality, then the minutes can be made public. Now therefore be it resolved that the public be excluded from this meeting.
Say it again.